All right, team, we're live. Let's get cracking here. So, looking at the mortgage bond chart, doesn't look good. Now, this is no surprise. If you subscribe to me on YouTube, follow me here on Facebook, there's no surprise here. The only surprise is that for some reason, my once lucky green shirts are not giving us green candles. And I keep wearing them at crucial moments where support is about to be broken and we really need a green candle, and it keeps failing. So if we're going to do this whole reverse psychology thing, I guess I'm going to start wearing red shirts on those particular days. Yeah, well, no surprise here. No surprise. We've been telling you for a while, rates are going to get worse. Bonds are getting hit. I'm going to take a closer look at it with you today, and we're going to talk about a couple of the different reasons you may want to still consider refinancing that are pretty huge, actually. And rates haven't gone up that much just yet. They haven't gone up that much just yet. And the reason I say just yet is because this is just the beginning. So I'm telling you right now, I have a crystal ball. I know where rates are headed. Everyone does. It's not a unique crystal ball. It's not my personal one. It's one that everyone has privy to. Rates are going up. So the question is, how do you use that information to your benefit? Does that mean that you short bonds? No, don't do that. Does that mean that, you pull the trigger on something quickly before rates go up? Maybe. Before they go up more? Maybe. Does it mean maybe you want to sell your house and get into something else because you feel like you can double dip? You can get the most on both sides? Maybe. We'll talk about all those, okay? VA Home Loan Specialist Derrick Evans here, NMLS 155010. Call, text, send me an email if you want to buy or refi. We're going to zoom out a little bit here today. As you can tell, this candle that we've got going today, 41 basis point drop right here, just terrible. We really wanted to hold this level. I thought we would at least get some kind of bounce up here. Nothing doing. We had a double top, so I zoomed out a little bit here because I want to talk about more macro, what's going on. This double top up here, which happened, topped in the very beginning of August. We had a top out here. We actually made a new high on this, but this is still technically going to be a double top. Barely closed above it once. And that's probably coincides with the absolute top here. So it's just a perfect double top, which usually means lower. And look what happened immediately. Bam, smacked, just slapped. Then we had sideways movement here. And this is where rates were very easy to quote because they stayed the same for a few weeks. And now we're in a down channel that is just not good. This is not what you want to see. This is exactly what it looks like when something is getting murdered. Right now, these mortgage bonds are getting murdered. Remember, we want to see mortgage bonds go higher because when mortgage bonds go down, rates go up. There's an inverse relationship. And so we want to see prices of bonds going higher. We're losing a big buyer in the Fed. We know that. But what's really going on here? Okay. So here's one trend, right? This is a trend line that we would have to break. But then what's interesting to me is you get a cascading trend line. You get one here, and then you get another one here that's even sharper. I drew that terribly. We should probably refresh that. This is just awful. It's not the best drawing tool in the world, but Barry, I appreciate it. Barry Abebe runs this site, MBS Highway subscription site, so that I have access to this information for you guys. So here's probably a little bit better way to draw it. So we've got, this kind of guy here. Then we've got another guy here. And then it's cascading down. And now you have one that's even sharper. I did it terribly again. Let's just do it this way. And you have one that's even sharper. So you can see the increasing angle of the downward velocity, which is a really bad sign. And then the bottom fell out of it today. This is an important support level to hold. The bottom fell out. Okay, so does that mean rates stink now? No. Does that mean they're going to get worse? Very likely. And in fact, I'm going to go ahead and say yes, rates are going to continue to get worse. The hope that we had of a rate, a bond spike and a rate drop and a quick one more, just give me 2.25, one more time. And that's not going to happen now. It's not going to happen. So what do we do? Like, what's the game? All right, there's two things to look at. First of all, if you have a VA loan and you're looking to do an IRRRL, you can still get, low twos are still there. If you have PMI, this is probably the big one. Let's talk about the two biggest ones first. Let's do that. So PMI, if you have PMI on your loan, one of the things that's less rate sensitive is, property values have gone up. So property values going up gives you equity. Now you may have thought that, well, if I only put 5% down when I bought my home, so I can't get rid of my PMI. No, you can. You can either put 20% down, or if your home goes up in value by enough where what you owe and what it's worth has a 20% delta, then you are able to refinance and get rid of that PMI. Okay. So I would love to help some people, as we've been helping people quite a bit lately. It's one of my favorite things to do. Let's get rid of it. Let's get rid of the PMI. PMI is pretty expensive for most people. And if you got a conventional loan, it's not as expensive, but especially if you have an FHA loan, your PMI is very expensive. And we can refinance you out of that. Refinance you out of that, wipe out the PMI. Or if you're in an FHA loan, let's say you don't exactly have 20%, maybe you only have 15% equity, you're going to reduce your PMI by a lot. So even if your interest rate only stays the same or drops by 1/8% or something like that, you're still going to save a boatload, hundreds of dollars a month on just getting rid of the PMI. Remember, the PMI is not tax deductible. It does nothing for you. It's no good. You want to get rid of it as soon as you can. So that's one thing. That's a big deal. The other thing that I would say is probably a big reason for people to look at refinancing is cash out opportunities, especially VA cash outs opportunities. We got a lot of people right now cashing out their primary to buy investment properties out of state. Cash flow the heck out of those. There's a bunch of different things you could do: consolidate debt, build an ADU. I would say particularly for VA on this one, because VA, remember, allows you to go to 100%. You can get 100% of the value of your home. So if you bought your home for $550,000 and today it's worth $700,000, you can do a VA cash out for the $700,000 and pocket the $150,000. You do have a VA funding fee that has to be included in there, but outside of that, if you have a funding fee, if you have a disability rating, you don't pay the funding fee. But you essentially get to take all the equity that has occurred in your property, that has built up in your property, and then you can reposition that some other way. Whether you want to invest it in Bitcoin, stocks, bonds, whatever, mutual funds, other properties, doesn't matter. You can do whatever you want with it, as long as you qualify, obviously, for the loan. So cash out, and particularly VA cash outs, it is still a good time, because even though rates may be ticking higher, property values also have ticked higher and are going to continue to tick higher, as we've showcased the macro elements as to why that's going to happen, even though rates are going to slowly go up. Now, rates slowly going up, a lot of people ask me, well, hey, if rates are going to go up, then for sure property values are going to go down. And that is possible. Of course, that's possible. I don't think rates have as much to do with it as sellers mismanaging their listing has to do with it. But, we'll see. Time will tell on that front. I do think that if we have a slow and slight rate increase, like what we're seeing right now, let's go back to that. If this is a pretty slow, now it's accelerating though. And that's what we were looking at. Like, it's accelerating. In fact, even if I drew this line appropriately, like I gave this all just one, but really this is probably 4. You have this one here, which is on one plane, and then you have this one here, which is even going even further. So there's 4 cascades there. So it's just ratcheting. And you really were hoping that, okay, the bottom would be in here, but if we blew right through it today. That's not good. It's not a good sign at all. And even though the Fed is still buying, they're going to be tapering these purchases back. And if the market is going to get on the same side as the Fed, or is going to fight the Fed, you'd think that would be silly, but look what's happening. Look what's happening. That's what's happening. So is the market not afraid of the Fed? Or is inflation really so bad that these bonds are worthless? Hey, I tell you, I'm not going to buy one. I'm not going to buy a 30-year bond that pays 2%. You want a 30-year bond that pays 2%? Do you? You think that's enough? I mean, it's better, I guess, than maybe putting cash in the savings account, but it's hard to find anything else that's better than. And at least the cash in the savings account you could deploy quickly if you needed to. But anyhow, so these bonds are out of favor. I think bonds are on their way out. And I think that cryptocurrency will have a lot to do with that. But that's another video. For today, we're talking about refinancing. Does it make sense? The 2 best ways it's going to make sense for you, if you have PMI, particularly if you have an FHA loan. If you have FHA level PMI or FHA grade PMI, then you really need to look into this. Because even if your rate stays the same, sometimes even if your rate goes up a little bit, I have one where someone's rate went up 1/8% and they still saved $500 a month in PMI. Just pure trash. So, you can still save money even if rates are a little bit higher. The cash out is where it makes most sense. If you're looking to cash out, I'm not promoting cash out. Hey, everyone should cash out. No, if you're looking to do it, if you want to diversify your equity, if you want to buy out-of-state rentals, if you want to consolidate debt, if you want to build an ADU, those are the things that are on your roadmap, then the cash out, particularly the VA 100% cash out, could make a lot of sense. Are people going to be able to go and refi their home that they bought a year ago and save 1%? No, most likely not, unless you got absolutely ripped off. But here is what I will do, and I will always do this. In fact, I have 2 clients I'm doing this for today. If you want to get an analysis, if you want me to give you numbers, if you want to look at, hey, what would this mean for me? What would I have to do? How would it impact me? What will we save? What will it cost? What are the numbers? I give you a very, very detailed breakdown on this. So if you're interested in that, just reach out, call, text, shoot me an email. I'm here to help. I hope this is helpful. Not all is not lost. It's sad in my world when rates go up. It is. But when it happens slowly, it seems like it's torture, but really it's good. It's better this way. It's better this way than for it to happen overnight. So, but we should know when rates are going up, we should know what that means. And what that means is you can't be surprised by it. This should no longer be a surprise to you. If you wait a year to buy a house and you're like, oh, rates are 2.75 and you got pre-approved last time, they're 3.75 next year, just know you knew that. You saw this. You can't unsee it. You knew that it was coming. And when prices are still the same or even higher than they are today, you'll also know that because I warned you of it. This is what's happening. It's what's going to happen. And I know there's nothing I can do to make you believe me, but you will eventually when you see it happen. So reach out. Let me know if I can help you in any way. That is what I'm here for. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you guys.